So I thought maybe I can go watch Look Back, which is one of my favorite manga one-shots by Tatsuki Fujimoto, the creator of Chainsawman. I did a video about all his works. That if you want to check it out, you can. But I loved the manga, and I'm sure I will love the movie as well. Let's check it out. I already love it. Like, what is that intro? That is so Tatsuki Fujimoto. I'm afraid I'm gonna be kind of biased because I love the manga so much. She's so unlikable. I didn't read her that way in my head. Competition drives growth. That's messed up. Some dark humor this girl has. Which is just like Tatsuki Fujimoto. Wait, is it Shark Kick because he made Firepunch? I don't know. Even though I knew it was gonna happen. Can we just appreciate? Can we? I mean, the whole story is, why do you draw? Why do you do this? This is so pointless. And she said, look back. And she remembered to look back. And this is so genius. Because she looks back and she sees the shirt that she signed, and on it says Ayumu Fujimoto. And the name Ayumu means to walk forward in your dream, or to walk forward. The name is the two kanji combination of to walk and dream. So it literally is a message to himself saying, walk forward towards your dream, Fujimoto. And the creator, his last name is Fujimoto. I never thought of making something or creating something as a love letter to yourself. That's so sweet. Sometimes we need to be our biggest motivator because we can't guarantee that anybody else is going to do that for us. Wow, wow, wow. I did not catch that until it was in visual form. Wow. Yeah, look back at all these amazing times. For the first time maybe in his life, he had a friend. On one hand, it's really, really screwed up that Kyo has social anxiety because something happened in her past and she's afraid of people, and that's why she can't go to school and she can't be around people. It's really screwed up that somebody did something so violent, so vile to her, because that is like the scariest part of humanity, is how we can be so cruel to each other. But also, looking back, how in a world where Kyo couldn't trust people and was afraid of people, Fujino was a friend. They had the most amazing happiness and memories together. That's why you draw. That's why you keep going. And I feel like a lot of times when people pass away, we feel so guilty, like we're not allowed to be happy. How dare we be happy when they're not here anymore? But be happy for them. Love and grief are sisters, or something somebody said to me when Hazel passed away. Because you loved so, so much, that's why there's this grief. You wouldn't have one without the other. So acknowledge that and see that and focus on that part and know that they would want you to be happy. Wow. I thought I'd be more prepared for it because I read the manga and I know the plot points. But I think when you add music and you add the sound of a person's voice, I mean, I totally didn't even think about the fact that she would have a speech impediment and be so very much anxious. I knew that she was a recluse in this story, but I just didn't read her that way. And all of these nuances and these things that make them even more human when you animate them, it connects you to them even more. And so that's why it is even more heartbreaking when they're taken away from you. So sad. Something I really love, what I really love about the ending is it's very, it doesn't really close and tie it all up with a nice knot and make you feel really good about yourself, and you go on to see that she's this super successful mega star. Like, there isn't any grandiose, satisfying dopamine closure, and that's kind of what I like about it, is that it's very real. She goes through the grief and the wishing, what if things could have been different, what if, and the experiencing the guilt that it's my fault, and if only I could change the outcome. And then to be comforted by their time that they did have together, and being reassured that she must continue. If not for herself, then for her friend, who was the reason why she came back to drawing. In both realities, in both timelines. If Fujino didn't come and get Kyomoto to come out of the house, maybe this tragic incident wouldn't have happened, but also they wouldn't have these amazing memories together. Kyomoto maybe would have never made a friend, and Fujino would have never gone back to drawing. And they would have never accomplished this beautiful thing together either. So, life is more than death. And I feel like when somebody passes away, it's really hard to not focus on how sad and how awful that is. But it's really, really important to remember that that's not their entire life. And focus on the memories that you had together and how incredible that was, and how beautiful you can continue their life into yours. And like how the movie ended, it was very simple. There was no explanation, and there was almost more said in the unsaid. And with, the going back to the desk, going back to making the art, going back to doing the thing that you were meant to do. Despite the hardships, despite the tragedies, despite the letdowns in life. Get back to it. Look back. Wow. There was also a Kyoto animation. There are a couple of, if I'm remembering correctly, the story of the 3/11 disaster and his volunteer relief experience influencing this story I read in his manga. I read in Look Back. He had written that himself. Unless it was one of the other one-shots I read. I read most of his one-shots all in one go, and I might be blending some of the stories. Another event that is said to have influenced this, especially since Look Back came out on the 2nd anniversary since this incident, is the Osaka animation arson attack. Sorry, the Kyoto animation arson attack in 2019. This is one of the deadliest attacks in Japan modern history, and I could go more into it, but many talented animators were lost that day. And the nature of that event and the sudden and hateful event in Look Back have a lot of parallels. He took his last name, Fujimoto, and put it into Fujino, the ambitious and confident girl, and Kyomoto, the recluse. I mean, a lot of this is going to be my speculation based on the facts, but I think it's his way of portraying the duality of himself as an artist. He has this ambitious, front-forward facing, recognition-hungry, driven artist, and then also this, maybe he had social anxiety when he was growing up. I don't really know much of the history of his childhood, but possibly a lot of the things that his classmates were saying to him and the things he experienced could very much be from his own personal life or the lives of other artists that he's worked alongside or befriended. And his love and dedication to the craft. And then later when you see the name that she signed on the back, she wrote her first name, Ayumu, which means to walk, to dream, to move forward. And then Fujimoto, as she's reflecting on her life with her friend, that's what it looks like. It looks like it says Ayumu Fujimoto, like walk forward in your dream, walk in your dream, move forward in your dream, Fujimoto. I think the character's way of telling herself, like, they created the manga together under a pseudonym that mixed their names, Kyomoto. So they had been, as they were creating the manga together, they had already been combining their names, kind of having like a collaborative identity so that they were sharing the work together. And even though one of them has now passed, by continuing the manga, she would be continuing the legacy for both of them, right? So I think it's a dual meaning of Ayumu Fujimoto, like you two together move forward. By making the manga, you are extending her life's work and you are extending her legacy and doing what she couldn't. And that's honoring her and her life, and go back, draw, do it, move forward in the dream for both of us. But at the same time, it subtly breaks the fourth wall because it's Fujimoto, the creator of the movie Look Back, Tatsuki Fujimoto. It's a message to himself, from himself, move forward, walk forward towards the dream, Fujimoto. And I think it's even comforting himself in a time where many people lost their lives, whether it's the 3/11, whether it's the arson attack. Many people lost their lives, especially for him in the animating space. Many people that had dreams like him, that worked alongside him, that I'm sure there's a lot of why them, right? And maybe survivor's guilt, I don't know. To move forward, to remember why you're doing this, even in the face of a tragedy and feeling so helpless and lost and that nothing you're doing means anything. Move forward in the dream. Or like in the arson attack, where many other animators that should have and wanted to do the things he's doing. Maybe there's a little bit of why them? Or why do I have the right to be happy to keep continuing this dream when they didn't get to? To continue on for them. An incredibly simple story, I feel like. I didn't feel like there were too many. To me, it's pretty simple. It's a simple storyline. It's very straightforward. Not too much happens. Not too many people are involved. And it speaks to such a universal theme. And although I feel so incredibly sad So incredibly sad. It's true. Ayumu. Move forward. Walk in your dream. Walk towards your dream. I'll see you in the next one. What'd you think?